Hello. Welcome to LARP 101. At, oh God, you could do better than that. LARP 101. Yeah, see, that's what happens when it's in the... No, I'm not even going to go there. Thank you for coming along to this panel. We are here to chat and discuss about how to get into this wonderful hobby of LARP, of D&D in a field, if you will. Belting each other with foam weapons. That's another good way to describe this hobby. And it's wonderful, it is fabulous. I feel like death is watching me from a corner over there. Hello. Oh my God. So, my name is Steve, aka Hefty Yeti on Twitch and YouTube, and I talk about LARP for a living. I've been LARPing for 20 odd years. I know, I don't look that old, but it's difficult being me. Thank you. So, we're going to talk about, one rule I have. If you have any questions at all, just put your hand up. As long as it's LARP related, stupidity is tolerated, that's fine too. So as I said, I've been LARPing for 20 odd years. I do a lot of Empire LARP, I do a lot of Vampire the Masquerade LARP, I've even played Werewolf LARP. And go on from there, so the list is endless. So, directly to my right here we have...
Hello, hi, I'm Ren Stewart. I've been LARPing for almost 7 years now, but about every single week of those 7 years. I also play Empire, I LARP, and a few weird avant-garde systems.
Hello, check note. MCM Comic Con. I've been LARPing for a few years with the Empire system, and it's great, yeah.
Hello. Okay, there we go. Hi, I'm Abby, known as Abby Purple Online She Her. I have been LARPing for 2 years. I started during lockdown, and now I almost go every weekend too in fields, and it's a great jolly time.
Good evening, Wembley. Hello, my name's Digby. I've been LARPing for 3 years next weekend, because for some reason my LARP year is always bookended by iLARP's Flying Lead Nightmare, which is really, really fun. Go and be a cowboy in the woods and shoot things. It's great.
Okay, cheers. Thanks for that. Yeah, short, sweet. I like it. Just like my sex life. So, LARP is quite an intimidating hobby to get into to start off with, I think people will agree. When you're looking in from the outside, you've got a few thousand nerds walking around wearing all of this, well, not this, obviously, wearing all of this armor, carrying weapons, the tent, looking like this.
God, the only one who bothered to be in costume.
Yeah, quite literally. So it's quite an intimidating place where to start. So I think I can happily say that my first pieces of kit were literally a pair of black joggers, a Nike polo t-shirt that I bastardized and ripped up, and a green t-shirt. That was my first ever LARP kit. And I looked so bad. But the amazing thing about this hobby is that no one cared. No one cared. You put in a bit of effort, that's all that matters. What was your first bit of LARP kit?
My first ever LARP kit would have been in the Brass Coast, which is, it was just a colourful set of clothing from a charity shop. It probably cost me about 20 quid. And then every single event after, I would add something new, or I would make something new. And eventually, after lots of hard work, I didn't look like shit. I didn't look bad. Not to swear.
I don't know, I have been.
But yeah, I built my costume up from nothing, from scraps, and I had a great time doing it.
I suppose I came from a bit of a lucky situation, because I've been doing living history and reenacting for about 15 years. So joining the LARP community was just opening a box and going, yeah, I've got all this kit, that'll do. So I'm kind of the outlier, as in starting off with the kit. But it's very aspirational, and it's very much a case of you start from the ground up. And if you've only got limited kit, that's fine. It's aspirational, you can build up from there and improve your kit going forward.
So my first LARP kit was actually just bits of old cosplay, stuff I've had in cupboards that were from like medieval festivals, shoved it all together, looked atrocious, but I had a great time at the events, and no one judges you for it, and that's something I really enjoy about LARP, is that you can wear anything and you're not going to get judged for it within the brief. So I had like this green cloak, a little pair of brown trousers, and a stereotypical LARP top with like a little lace-up thing, and that was my first LARP kit. But as Haydn said, the LARP kit is aspirational, so my current LARP kit has now a full story, and it's grown every event that I've been to, which I really like.
So like Haydn, I had the opportunity of coming over from the Living History world. So my first LARP outfit was a set of British Army 1880s other ranks trousers, which I owned because everyone owns a set of those, I found. A greyback shirt, which is a World War I British Army shirt. Again, I feel like all of you have got one of those in your cupboard somewhere. And a US cavalry waistcoat, which I picked up, I think, for a £5 off someone who was just clearing out a cupboard and was like, yes, I'll have that fits the character I'm playing. And an old hat that I found in a skip, of all places, that was actually in surprisingly good nick. I don't know why anyone was throwing it out. Yeah, 3 hat. So that was my first LARP kit.
We totally approve of skip diving.
Definitely, a bit of dumpster diving never hurt anyone. So the kit is all aspirational. It's what you've got, it's what you can do. If you can make it yourself, even better. So to all the people out there who do cosplay and do things like that, if you can make it all yourself, then you're already doing better than me, who's been doing this hobby for 20 odd years. Because I can't put anything together whatsoever. I'm very blessed with my wife because she can. So there is that, which is a good start, basically. But there is also, within this hobby, you are absolutely blessed with this community that is out there. Because where it may seem very daunting to have everything in front of you and how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I do the other, it just takes one simple question to one nerd on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, anything like that. Huh?
Discord.
Oh yeah, Discord as well. And an entire world opens up to you. So when people think of LARP, they think of films like Grown Ups, Knights of Badassery, things like that. And I will happily say that's all wrong. LARP, some LARPs are like that. You do get people running around in a field going, fireball! Stuff like that. It does happen on occasion. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. You also get LARPs where it doesn't happen like that. You aren't running around fighting dragons, goblins, demons, things like that. How many people here have played Fallout before, the Fallout games? There's a wonderful LARP out there called Wasteland, which is the Fallout world. So you'll get people who have put all these things together from stop signs and stuff like that, and look absolutely incredible doing it. I've seen people who have made actual power armor out of these things, and I can barely tie my own shoelaces, let alone do things like this. It's incredible. It really is incredible.
I think it's quite a similar thing to how in cosplay a part of the joy is simply being involved. If you buy something for 20 quid off of Amazon to do a cosplay with, it still brings you joy. Other people enjoy seeing you in it, they enjoy identifying with you in it. And then there is the separate tiers, the people who enjoy cosplay for its craftsmanship and will spend hundreds of hours crafting these beautiful Warhammer cosplays or Genshin cosplays. It's similar with LARP. There are people who will spend hours crafting, hand sewing incredible pieces of costume. And these different tiers, these different sort of levels of access, it's really something that brings beauty to LARP. No one's ever going to judge you for buying something off the rack and enjoying wearing it, but that's really not the end of the line.
It's the support that you get. I think my favourite thing, well, this is the big question, I suppose. Why do you LARP? It's a huge question.
So I like the drama.
I mean, I suppose it comes down to, a lot of people describe a lot of the LARPs as almost like D&D but in real life. Kind of. So it's bringing out the theatrical side, it's getting the drama, it's getting a story that drives you forward. It's things that pull people together. It's almost like a bit of a community, really. And you go into it thinking, so many people, I don't know anyone. By the end of events, you know a lot of people, you've built a story with other people, and you can't wait to go to the next one. So I suppose, yeah.
Every time. I think one of the reasons why I enjoy LARP and go to it is because of the escapism. You really get transported into like this whole new world depending on what LARP that you're doing. So for example, one of the LARPs I do is a huge fest LARP called Empire, and it's 3,000 to 4,000 people on this field. Yeah, it's a lot of people. And you can just go, wandering around, there'll be a random quest for you, there's notice boards with in-character things going on. I do a mail service. I'm a mailman.
Nims Noms is definitely worth
Very
investigating
speed.
to go to Empire. It's such a good service.
So some people like to go for fighting, some people like to go for just the role play, some people like to go for story, some people like to go for costume. It's honestly for everyone, but for me it was the escapism.
Some people go because they want to run a farmers union. I run a farmers union. I don't know why I run a farmers union. It's just completely different to my day job, but it's really good fun because Empire gives me lots of opportunities to be angry about farms. Yeah, it kind of is that escapism element of being someone else for the weekend and doing something that you really normally can't do. So with Empire, I have the opportunity to basically walk into Conclave, which is the big gathering of all the mages, and yell at them, which is fantastic. It's really cathartic for me because I can walk in there and go, you're all awful and I hate you all, and I have an opportunity to be an awful person, which I can't do in the outside world. Because in the outside world, that tends to ruin your reputation slightly.
There's your day job where you have to, there are a lot of expectations, and then you can enter a world where the expectations are just whatever you make them. So you play a union leader, you play a postman. What do you play? Is summarize it in like one.
I am also involved in the farmers union.
Union member. I play a clown.
Please don't ask me what I do.
Sell imaginary drugs.
I'm a drug dealer.
See all the things you can do, and your imagination is boundless.
I think the big thing that a lot of people don't realise about LARP is it helps you do. So I was speaking to Solar Bubbles TV.
So yeah, Solar Bubbles TV, or Solar Panels TV,
or Solar Panels TV on TikTok. And we were talking about mental health and the fact that doing all of these hobbies and doing content creation, how it helps you. So where I have been diagnosed with depression and PTSD, and doing LARP has helped me in so many ways where I'm able to walk and stand, I'm able to stand here in front of all of you lot for a day. I mean, don't worry, I'm not picturing you all in your underwear, just Adam. Do things like that. I'm able to go into a battle where it's 600 against 600 people and lead a fight, lead an entire army. This sort of hobby helps bring people out of their shells. It gives people the confidence, it gives people the belief to go and do whatever they want to do. I know we've waxed lyrical about Empire and iLARP, but there are so many amazing LARPs out there. There's Curious Pastimes, which I believe is just down there or just over the way. They're a LARP company. Go and have a chat with them. There's LARP weapons there. Go and pick one up, twat someone with it. It's great fun. It really is so therapeutic. It's wonderful. Ask for permission before you
Brackets,
twat
safely.
someone. Yeah.
All your blows.
With consent.
Sometimes. But these sorts of these sorts of things all help everybody in the. Sorry, I was distracted by a sofa in the corner of my eye. So these sorts of this hobby has helped so many people in so many different ways. It broadens your comfort zone. It enables you to do so much more in life. I mean, all of these four people here I've known from before, well, just before they started the hobby, and they've all changed dramatically. I want to say all for the better, all for the absolute better. They've grown as people, they've grown as humans, and it's great. It's absolutely wonderful hobby. I will also say to everybody, if you do get any questions, please put your hand up, because otherwise I will just keep on talking forever.
There's no stupid questions when it comes to LARP either, genuinely. If you want to ask, what does it feel like to get hit by a sword, we can absolutely answer that.
Everything's stupid.
Did you like
It's
that
also
athletic
fun.
jump there? Someone like falling off the stage?
It's also a great opportunity to, like people that take theatres to heart and creating different characters, you can be something that in real life, that's just not how you are, and try that out.
Are we all good for a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, who do you want to ask? All of the questions or all of the people? Wonderful, go for it.
Hi guys. One thing first, just quick. I also go to Empire, so it's nice to see more Empire people. Navarre myself, anyway. One thing.
Not yay.
Not yay.
There's too many of you.
Well, we get the forest because we're cool. Just saying. But one thing that I found, I only started LARPing this year, and something that I wanted to ask about you, from you guys is, I don't know if anybody else knows about what's it called, character bleed, where you know, how do you guys deal with that? Because I've found ways to deal with it myself, but it might be good for other people to know.
So bleed. Yeah, you go ahead. 'Cause you've got the best story about bleed.
Me running.
Hey!
Come on! I had a character for 9 years die. And I cried like a baby. I really did. When you get involved in these hobbies, it's like D&D, tabletop. You get so connected to your creation, to you, essentially, because all of these characters that you put out there have a little bit of you, a little part of yourself, something that you want to play, something that you want to aspire to be,
And
a Spider-Man dinosaur.
And they're not just characters, right? They're the community that's formed around them. They're a story you're telling. Their costume you've made. Their experiences you've had, good and bad, right? They're a huge chunk of your life.
Massive. So my character died, and I came out of that empty. Didn't know what to do with myself. Went and sat at the tent, and I thought I was alright, but wasn't. Really wasn't. Until I had a friend come up to me and just put his hand on my shoulder and just said, "Are you alright?" I was like, yeah, I'm fine. and I had to go home. This was literally, one day into an event, and I went home, because I just couldn't handle it. Bleed is where something that's happened in character is affecting your real world. And it's a real thing. And it really does happen. It happens a lot. You get angry, you get upset, you get dragged into bad moods, you get into great moods. It all affects you. But the one solid that comes back from all of this is the fact that you've got people around you who will always look at you and just say, "You're right." You have a little cry, you feel a little bit better for it, but you get through the other side. So character bleed is horrific, it's bad, but it's all part of the experience.
Checking in with other players is also big and clever. So if you're doing something that's really quite adversarial with another player, finding them 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, and then going, hey, just to check, everything is IC, I'm not a dick IRL, I promise. Alfred is a curmudgeon, he will yell at you about magic. Matt, pretty kind of easygoing, hopefully. So, yeah, check in.
Have you drunk enough water?
Oh yeah, that's a good one as well, yeah.
I think.
Socks?
Ooh, where?
No.
Socks.
No, please, can we not bring socks up this evening? And today I hate socks with a passion. That's all that's ever talked about on my channel, in my Discord, and I despise them. And yes, I am wearing a t-shirt that says built on socks, but this t-shirt can go fuck itself.
Character bleed. I think I have to think of it as, if a character dies, I have to think, well, that story, that chapter has ended, but let's start a new story. Because, you know, starting a new story is all fun. It's like finishing your favourite TV series and feeling a bit lost, and then wanting to find another one that you're into. So I think of it as like a new opportunity, a new story to start something fresh. And obviously I've got my memories, I've got my pictures, because yay, LARP photographers, they're amazing. Big shout out to them. So you got all the memories and things from that, and then move on to my next story, see what I can create next.
Just takes a little while to get there.
Well, just quickly, in a similar way to you cry when you watch movies, or when actors get too connected to their characters, character bleed is where your brain doesn't know whether you're pretending to be sad or whether it really is sad. And sometimes you get too invested in things, and sometimes it's amazing, and this can come with downsides. This can come with a backbite to it. And I've played a lot of characters who've lost everything, who've dreamed so big and fallen so far. And I've cried in games, I've cried after games, and it's been great. The catharsis is beautiful. One of the best things I can ever advise for somebody starting LARP is, if you can, you've got to create that line in the sand. Don't just play yourself. And if you're just playing yourself, make sure everyone knows that. Your character is a character, and when somebody screams at you because you've betrayed them, they're not mad at you, they're mad at your character. You can do things like talk afterwards. You can do things like have, there's a term for it.
Take a time out.
Taking time outs, taking refresh time. You don't need to be switched on all the time at LARP. You don't even need to be in character all the time at LARP. You can go and sit in a corner and be your actual human self for a little bit.
You can also batter the person who shouted at you as well, just throw that one out.
You can legitimately just sit to one side, and if people around you are not to agree, and go, should we just have a bit of a time out? We're not in character here, that's fine.
Play a character, and when you do so, remind yourself often that the character isn't you.
Right, got a question?
Hiya, I'm just looking for a bit of clarity because I've never done LARP before, but I'm very curious because I've done lots of Dungeons and Dragons in the past. How do you go about creating a character that interacts with other people that you don't know and building a story when there's, like some of you are saying, like hundreds of people? Like, I've heard of the battle part of LARPing before, but how do you collaborate, I guess, and try and get everyone on that same wavelength or find people who are doing that? This is a lot of questions, but I genuinely know very little about LARP besides what I've seen from, like, what was it, that Marvel show briefly.
So with like a system like Empire where there's X number of thousand people playing, you can go in there as a fresh character and you can push certain dominoes or pull certain levers by just doing certain things. You'll either pick up on what plot's going on with other people, or you've accidentally created plot yourself. And an awful lot of it is you don't even know you've got involved in a piece of plot until you're in it. And it's very, very easy to just accidentally get yourself involved.
I accidentally joined a secret society at Empire. And when I say I accidentally joined a secret society at Empire, I literally walked into the wrong tent at the wrong time and had a conversation. I was in a secret society. So, yeah, your plot can happen and it can come at you fast and it's great.
It's a different answer for whatever system you're at. Certain systems are designed in such a way to give you those levers to go and interact with people. They have religious systems and societies and positions that you can, try and politic for. One of the best ways I would always encourage is to, one, read the brief, read the system, know what's kind of going on, and pick something that your character cares about deeply, something that they will go and argue with people for, congratulate people for. Everything in LARP is just interactions with people, and most of all, especially in regard to walking into a tent and being added to a society, people want you to get involved. They want you to be involved in their story. They want to be involved in your story. If you wander up to someone who you know is a criminal and you go, hey, I've heard a little something about what you're doing, you're signing yourself up to get involved in what they're doing. And it takes a little bit of confidence, and sometimes it can be helped by discussing stuff out of character and going in with a friend. But the actual game system itself gives you levers to collaborate, and people always want to tell a story with others. There is no story if it's just you.
Okay, so getting into a LARP if you're brand new, don't know what to do, don't know where to go. Facebook groups, there's like UK LARPs, post in there, see what you can find. Discord groups, Hefty AC has a brilliant Discord. If you join his Discord, it will have a community of people that will help you set up a character, help you go through things if you don't understand. Every single game system has a brief and a game document that will help you understand what the game is about, what kind of costume to wear, and how to start with that. And then once you get there, you can either come with friends, and then you can hang out with your friends and walk around and do things, or, like you said, stumble into things that you don't actually know is going to happen. For example, there was a huge murder at my tent that just happened. It was the murder of the Mithril man, who is very famous at Empire, and it happened right in front of my eyes, and I was like, oh wow, that's happened on my porch, oh my gosh, well, here we go. So
this guy says like he wasn't involved in killing the Mithril man.
No, I was not involved in killing the Mithril man. I'm a humble postman, what do you mean? But yeah, so plot can find you, you can find plot, and if you go with your friends, makes it a hell of a lot easier for sure.
On your character creation point, reading the document is being clever, but also reading the lore and going, there is something here that no one else has spotted, I'm doing that. My character Alfred, when he first turned up to Empire, there was a giant sinkhole that was opened up in the lore to stop armies moving around and people cheesing a system. So I decided that that was my farm. So I turned up basically ready to throw grenades into established game, because what's the better way to hit the field as a player at your first LARP event than to sort of turn up to the largest group in the field that owns that particular sinkhole and go, it's my farm, pay up. Really great way to get involved in a lot of game very quickly.
I think when it comes to the roleplay side of it as well, which I think was one of the questions you asked, it's literally like you're at a D&D table. So when you are talking to someone, but the only difference is that you've got your piece, instead of having a piece of paper, you are your character. So when you are thinking about what your character would say, you would just say it to that person. So with what Digby's saying there, you would literally walk up to the person in all your wonderful kit and all of this and just say, so you own that sinkhole, you owe me money, give it to me now, and did you have that entire interaction with them? And then it will probably go on for months and months and months of back and forth and people screaming and shouting at each other. That's it if you want to do that. So, but it's literally, you are your character, you are stood there as your character, saying, why have you done this? Why have you done that? Do you want to do this? Or in my case, want some drugs?
Steve, I've got another one.
Okay, I'm going to go over to the person with the question.
I accidentally became the fake governor of a definitely real Spanish island at Hoist through one bit that we were doing to try and get a French captain off the island by going, oh, it's a Spanish colony, you can't stay here. It's a thing now. He gets invited to balls with French royalty. It was a bit for one encounter and is now integral to the lore of the game. So very small things
can go on forever at a LARP. Depending on where you are and who you're with, people will yes and You can end up anywhere.
Right. Question time. Question time.
I think you alluded to the joy of pretending to be someone else. As you can tell, I quite enjoy that. If you're coming up with a character, or you've chosen a character, or a character is chosen for you between, I don't know how that works, how much is that impacted on if you have physical disabilities? I'm an occasional wheelchair user, can't walk very far. There's a limit to how much escapism I can get from that.
So it's kind of system dependent, but both of the big systems that I play, which is Empire and ILARP, are incredibly accessible. If you want to play a character archetype, but you can't do everything you necessarily want to do because of mobility, the plot will come to you. Just let the game runners know and they will work around you. It's all good.
LARP itself tries its best to be incredibly accessible. The vast majority of games, it's one of their top priorities to make sure as many people as possible can get involved, can do whatever they need to do. And of course there are clashes, things like combat can't always be maneuvered to be accessible for absolutely everyone, but a great number of LARPers have disabilities. I couldn't describe to you the phenomenon, but yeah, it's a very welcoming community, and games are designed so that as many people as possible can get involved and can be just as important or influential or popular or hated as any other character.
So for accessibility, one of the big games I play, there's so many people in what the little chairs, the electric chairs, mobility scooters, they have paths that you're able to go on, and people will come up to you and you can go up to people. They cut the grass majority of the time so you can get to them, and the reason why I play a post person is because people can't get from one end of the field as quickly as I can, so I make sure that I'm there for people who have accessibility issues. So there are loads of people like me that do run postal services, running around services to help you get the game that you need as well, including the companies themselves. So they have a lot of things in place, what Ren has already said.
Empire, I know, and also ILARP have rules based upon the fact that any sort of accessibility aid is invisible. You don't need to disguise it, you don't need to hide it, you don't need to make it look in character, whether that's glasses or a wheelchair. These things can simply exist, and somebody's ability to access the game always comes before everything looking medieval. It's not reenactment, and we don't try and make it that way. Not that reenactment is bad, but...
There was one other point, my friend broke his leg for an event and could not get out down the field or the forest, so couldn't go on the counters.
And they changed the game for him.
They changed the game for him, so they came to a hut and they did a theatre of the mind experience, and we didn't miss out, so we actually got to be included in everything, and we had a really cool experience from that. So it's very open and very accessible for many people. It was Oasis, yeah. It was a 1920s mummy's LARP. It was great.
I will add to all of this as well. On a personal note, I'm recovering from cancer. So an entire year of my life after multiple surgeries and not being able to do things, I'm very much a combat bunny, and I love to have a fight with literally everyone if I can. I haven't been able to do it for a year, but there is so much more game out there away from fighting. So for Empire, for example, combat battles, so 15% of the game. There's politics, magic, trading, drugs, things like that, farming, stuff like that. Lots of, a fair bit of drinking as well. Not that we own a bar, and things like that. So there is a lot of game out there, and it's just about you get out of this what you want as well. So we have another question.
I'll just add on the accessibility question. There is a good Facebook group called Access LARP, who are very, very good.
Yeah, good.
A lot of less able-bodied people who will give you advice there. My question to the panel is just as an event LARP organiser myself, having one of the founding members of Wasteland UK, I'm also run Death Unto Darkness, which is the Warhammer 40k system. I'm curious, have you ever thought about crossing over to the event organiser side?
Yes.
I do.
three.
I'm a writer on a couple different ILOP games, and I'm a game runner on a game called Asphodel, which is has only had its first event, but is a Greek underworld LARP about heroes.
I have 3 in the concept stage, one of which is Death of Stalin the LARP, which I'm looking for a venue for. The other of which requires
It's always venues.
Yes, it should be quite good if I could find a venue that will accommodate it. The other one is probably never going to happen, which involves me building a replica fuselage of a Lancaster bomber, which is like, if I win the lottery, that's the LARP I'm running, but it's never going to happen unless if someone in the crowd has a spare 100 grand lying around and they want to finance that, come and find me after the panel. And the third one is really, really, really embryonic, which I won't talk about because it's very cool.
So, if anyone's heard of Vampire the Masquerade at all, I've just taken over UKM Southampton, so which is pretty much the entire south coast, and I'm going to be hosting a LARP in King John's Hunting Lodge next year. So, not to put too fine a point on it, but it's terrifying, but it's going to be great fun. Right, so we have another.
If you want to find out about any of these, unfortunately, the place to know about LARPs, the place where things are discussed and organised, it's nearly always Facebook, which is great for communities. And yeah, there are a lot of different Find a LARP, UK LARP, stuff like that. That's where people post the events they have going on, and that's where you can find stuff that goes on near you.
Yeah, Twitter, Discords. Well, yeah, a little bit of Twitter. Sorry, did I say that?
So, what is something that each of you wish you knew before you got into LARP?
Something you wish you knew before you got into.
The damage to my wallet, because I'll be honest with you, I got into doing, my first LARP event was Flying Lead Nightmare because someone mentioned to me, I was going to go to Empire that year and it got cancelled because the COVID lockdowns kept extending and extending and extending. So the first one I could get to was in November of 2021 after someone said to me, oh, there's a cowboy LARP. There's a what? Please, yes, give link, I will go. From that, the Nightmare is a one-shot. I then went to play the main Flying Lead system, and then from there I ended up playing Hoist the Colours, and then from there I ended up playing Outlaw, and then from there I ended up playing Oasis, and then from there I ended up playing... You see, it adds up, because it's this one... iLARP is a company that runs so much different various stuff. It's so good. It's really, really good. I love it.
I don't know, it's a really hard question to answer, actually. It was a bit soppy to say, but I was very, very nervous on my first LARP. I was 16. I only knew a handful of people that I talked with on forums. It will be fun. It will be okay. Everyone there is looking out for you.
I was really apprehensive about camping. I did not like camping when I started LARP, and I know Steve knows this. I was like, oh, I'm going to get a hotel, oh, it's going to add up, and do you know what? Camping's fine. I've got a nice tent, I've got a lovely little camp bed, all these duvets and things. It's actually all right. There's showers at most LARPs.
Abby's camping setup is nicer than my actual bedroom, so it can take a bit of investment to get as nice.
Yeah, I picked up my camp bed off Facebook Market. I love a vintage on a Facebook Market at the moment, you know. But yeah, the camping, it was way easier than I thought.
So luckily, being involved with living history and a few things for about 15 years, Camping, tick, yeah, I've got that sorted. Kit was sorted, but one thing coming into it that to pick up on was say yes quite often. Someone comes up with a bit of plot. If you go no, well, you're not going to get involved in the plot. But if you go, that sounds interesting, tell me more. Yes, what is this? That's a great way of getting involved in plots, in knowing people, in just having nice chats with people, making friends. It's just say yes more often than you would think you need to.
The worst that happens is you give someone 5 minutes to gush at you about something they're really passionate about, even if you end up at the end of it going, probably not for me, but I know someone who probably would be interested, they're just down there.
And even if it's something that your character would hate, you go, wow, that's disgusting. Tell me more, so that I can avoid it.
More detail.
Yeah.
Disgusting detail.
Yes, and is a beautiful improving tool.
Yeah, I think it's. I was worried about, well, pretty much everything, to be honest. But weirdly, the thing that's got me through a lot is being ex-military. So if I could survive the deserts in Iraq and Afghanistan, then to be honest, I can survive 3 days in the field near Silverstone. So it's not too bad. But the big thing that I wish I had known straight away is talk to people. I spent a lot of time on my own to start off with, and I let my insecurities, my anxiety get the better of me. And then I started to say yes to literally everything, talk to literally everybody. And now I'm taking my own experiences and I'm helping people like these four get into the hobby. I've helped someone who on stage who one night was wearing clothes that were not suitable for that field whatsoever.
Listen, I looked great though.
You look
That's what
phenomenal.
important. I looked great.
You look phenomenal in what, in the -3 temperature?
It was so, and it was wet. It was wet. It's a problem.
And it was wet. But yeah, we got you warmed up.
I'm a marcher now. It's fine. Costume. No matter what the brief, no matter how ambitious the game runner is, we live in England. You'll be in a field, 90% chance it'll be wet.
Yeah, we have had a lot of snow. We have had the -10 at night. We have had people with frostbite.
This is Britain. If you don't like the weather, just spin the weather wheel and see what happens next.
Very, very true. Right, we have another question. We got another two questions.
So there's a lot of people here who are obviously very new to LARP, a lot of people with LARP want to experience all aspects of the game, but a lot of the big draw is of course combat. So what should people expect when they go to somewhere, for example, like Empire, Curious Pastimes or such, and with like the combat on the fields, obviously the 600 by 600 or the encounters, like what should people expect in terms of obviously fighting one another for someone who has not necessarily fought before in their lives?
Fighting is really fun. That's step one. I remember coming into a LARP, being quite young and then presenting and worrying all these people playing warriors and all these people in big armor that I didn't have. My first fight, I borrowed a gambeson, I borrowed a sword, and I went into battle. And it was one of the most fun experiences of my life. So I guess the lessons I would like to share are, number one, it probably doesn't matter that much. You don't need to be ready in your first fight. You don't need to be a great warrior. It's all let's protect. Everyone is there to pretend to be a great hero. You're there to have fun. That is a crucial point of everything at the end of the day.
So I fight in the way that I take the battlefield and then I stand probably 2 foot behind the front line in full armour because I am a doctor. So I'm not actually hitting people. If I'm hitting people with my mace, something has gone incredibly wrong. So occasionally I have a scrap, occasionally I kill the odd yoke who comes through the line and tries to menace me in my Healy blob. They die, because it's my Healy blob, leave it alone. But most of the time I'm standing behind the front line and I'm going, oh, you're on the floor, why have you done that? Oh, come on, stand up, what's the problem? I've seen worse wounds. Shouting hero is great.
We've got about 6 minutes, so we've got two questions to go through.
You don't have to fight at LARP. There's loads of other things at LARP you can do as well. There's like 50% combat, 50% non-combat. You can be completely non-combatant or you can be combatant.
Yeah. not laughing at you, it's a really good question.
It depends on the system, but at the moment my favourite character to play is my governor, who is a swashbuckler who carries an umbrella. So I'm a better fighter than you with a weapon that can't kill you.
I'm a barbarian. Big time.
I am currently kind of playing a very, very, very healthy, tanky healer. So I will hit you in the face, but if someone next to me is also on the floor, I'll go, hang on a minute, let me just pick them up. Then I'm going to continue hitting you, which is not quite really the healer brief, but it works.
I think one of my favourite characters I've ever played was a hobbit at Second Breakfast LARP. It's a hobbit LARP run by Feast Your Eyes. And I just skipped around as a little cake baker hobbit, eating food, and it was great.
Was it favorite character or favorite class?
Class.
I guess the closest thing I can think of is kind of warlock, as in like narratively, it is such a lever to have somebody who has made some kind of dramatic, devious, probably foolish deal with another being. Yeah, signing my soul away to some powerful entity is a LARP classic.
Awesome. All right, last question.
Sorry if it's overly complicated for the last question. I was just going to say that obviously the conversation has focused a lot on combat-based games, large fest games, and I just wanted to get your opinion, but also a little rundown of perhaps some of the weirdest other games that you've heard of. I know a lot of people maybe don't want to go fight orcs in a field. You also have Nordic LARP, you've got chamber LARPs, you've got lots of different style of LARPs. What's the weirdest one you've ever heard of, in case we don't want to fight orcs and we might want to do something else?
Oh, it is mostly maybe a me question. Parlor LARPs and chamber LARPs are ones that are usually one evening only, just to quickly explain. One evening, a booked out room, maybe a church, with a shorter brief, a shorter amount of time to role play. And when I still lived in Oxford and was part of the Oxford Role Playing Society, which is a university society there, we had weekly different one-shots that anyone could run anything, and they got very stupid at times. I've played LARPs about being bees and trying to keep the hive alive. There's obviously Hobbit LARP, which is amazing.
There's a LARP that I've seen pictures of that is elves, Christmas elves in an office. That was probably the weirdest one I've seen. Enjoyed looking through the album of that.
Yeah, I've done Everybody's Nuns, which is at the end of the game you all kill each other. It's really, really good.
There's honestly a LARP for everything and everyone. You just
and if there isn't, make it, run it.
Run it, yeah, make it. You can make a LARP,
Yeah, there is literally something out there for everyone. So one of my favourites is a non-combat LARP. It's actually a Viking LARP, and it is literally about how Christianity and being asatry sort of like fought against each other. So it's a very social, political LARP, and it's set in a Viking village. So that's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to go off to that one.
In a couple weeks time, I'm going to Reginae Regis, which is a Tudor historical LARP, an alt history if Henry VIII instead had married each of his wives at the same time, made polyamory legal, and now it is a political mess. That is in the beautiful site of Ingestry Hall. It's all indoors, it's catered. That is one flavour of the LARPs that you can go to. Historical is quite a common setting, place to do things in. There are many different ones, and it's also more of a blockbuster LARP, is what they call it. Sort of usually more expensive, but more of creature comforts.
Well, there's that pirate one from Italy where you're the crew
on a ship.
Yeah, ship LARP.
Yeah, so that looks fun as well. But there is literally
there's Legion. I said I wouldn't talk badly about any LARPs. It's that it looks beautiful. Legion is a LARP where I believe you're in the something military and you hike in the LARP across snow-covered
I
mountains.
think it's the Finnish Soviet continuation wars. It was like the 1920s, and they give you an actual soldier who is taking part in that. Was it the Czech Legion? There we go.
Czech Legion LARP. And I've had friends that have gone and have had amazing, intense experiences. And it is truly one of the last things I'd want to do in the world. But it sounds beautiful and it's extremely creative.
Next week I'm doing a LARP called All Hallows Eve where I'm playing a ghost at a ball of ghosts. So that's going to be good fun.
So I think that's time there for us.
We're getting kicked out.
We could have gone on for hours and hours and hours more. If you have any questions, we'll be stood off to the side over there. So if you want to come and say hi, have a chat, ask anything, get some details, and come and find out about this wonderful hobby, we can, well, talk your ears off basically about it. We can talk for hours and hours and hours about this.
Thank you everyone so much.
Thank you for coming.
All of you who are already LARPers, those of you who have been thinking about it, I really hope you go and I really hope you have a great time.
Very, very much. So thank you so much for coming and watching and
Thank you, everyone.
tolerating us.